And let's see if this works. 3, 2, 1, launch! Let's zoom out so that my ears don't get destroyed in the process of launching this thing. I'm gonna throttle down because we don't need to have full throttle because our boosters are doing a lot of the work. Bill and Noonie looking rather nervous. Noonie looking especially nervous because this might be the last time he ever sees Kerbal again. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna turn on our lights too, just because we may as well. And let's throttle back down. We're going... well, frankly, we're probably going too much faster than we need to. Oh, my goodness, I realized this might not be the best time to say this, but I realized that there was a mission I forgot to show you guys at KSC, Kerbal Space Center, the control stat. I'll show you what that is later. Once we get high enough, again, I think about 50 kilometers or so, we can go to full throttle. Ooh, that looks cool, sort of like a sunflower pattern. I'm going to throttle all the way up now. Because now I think we can afford to. Because we should be high enough out of the atmosphere for it to not matter. Whoa. Although, at this stage, now that we're in space and no longer using our booster and no longer competing with the atmosphere, it becomes once again hard to turn this craft because it is so vague. Or long, rather. I noticed this happens specifically with long craft. Oh, also, before I forget, I should turn on our solar panels, so that for the first time, Charon can catch light from its main solar panels, its sails, its generators, if you will. Any moment now, our periap should be popping up on the other side. Boy, I'm still doing... Nope, there's our periaps. As long as it's above 70, we should be good. Okay, we're now in orbit. And, perfect. Oh, that's better than I thought it was going to be, actually. My orbits tend to be a little bit uneven, so maybe I'm getting better at this. Okay, so we are now in orbit. We are in a comfortable orbit. We can make decisions carefully and cautiously. Right away, there's a few things that we can do right now. For example, I'd like to get some science done because that'll fulfill one of our mission objectives. So let me see if I can just find some random experiment. Maybe we can use our science monitor gravity scan. Okay, let's find a gravity scan. Gonna have to zoom in to find this thing. Because we are on the dark side of the moon. Or the sun, rather. The planet. Here we go. So let's transmit some data. And any minute now, that should give us some more money. Let's see how this goes. There we go. So we've got some extra cash. Good to always look at your possible assignments while you're at mission control. I'm going to get rid of these contracts here so we can keep an eye on our progress as we go along. Also, one of the missions that we can do while we're up here is test the 2477s. Which I'm fairly positive is something that we already have now. Oh, actually, maybe we can't do this right now because I realize that our orbit is too high. Let's see. Is it indeed too high? Because these are the 2477s. We hit them on the lower lander right here. How far below is our... Oh. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, we should still be good. I just have to wait for it to dip below. I'm going to throttle all the way down to make sure that we don't accidentally boost ourselves anywhere. I'm going to run the test once we dip below 99 kilometers or so. Oh, looks like we can do some more science missions, but I'm too focused on this mission right now to really concern myself with it. Because this should give us a little bit more money. Oh, did that not work? Oh, there we go. There! Now we have a little bit more money. And we've actually, that should have given us a bit more science too. You should notice that our science has actually climbed up to 138 just by doing these 2 missions at random here. So, always going to check your mission control center. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave this window open just so that we have something to reference. Going to keep our fuel and energy systems also running too. Now then, we got to get to the moon. And we can sit in this orbit as long as we want to while we organize our trip to the moon. There. About there should do. Okay, so we are on our way to the moon. We haven't been back there in quite a while, actually. The last time we went there was... Gosh, when was that? Like... 10 episodes ago? 20 episodes ago? I can't even remember. Take a look out here. Making sure that we attain a orbit. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're coming down hot. Okay, slow, slow and steady. The purpose is not to land yet. We just need to put ourselves in a stable orbit because landing is much easier to do after the orbit is achieved. There, that's about as comfortable as I feel. So, slightly uneven, but I think we can manage. And fortunately, that does put us a little bit closer to the surface. Now, this feels like a familiar place, doesn't it? The last time we were here, we put ourselves in a specific target, right here, in this crater. So, if we basically target any other place on the surface of the planet, we should actually be able to land and gather some brand new data. Let's see. In fact, actually, while we're here, there's something we can do right now. I'm gonna go back to our ship. I'm gonna do some random experiment somewhere on this thing. Let's do a gravity scan, I guess. Let's do... Well, okay, we're gonna keep that one. And we're going to use... this one. And transmit that for some science and the fulfillment of another mission. And you can see a lot of the spots in our science monitor are currently green. That means we can do those tests right now. We only brought one science junior with us though, and I want to save that for when we actually land on the surface. But what we can do is a crew report. So a quick crew report. And we may as well just transmit that now, because there's 100% scientific value just by transmitting it, so why wouldn't we? That's less information to worry about having. There we go. Science is currently up to 185, so we're doing pretty good here. What else do we want to worry about doing? Well, you know what? Now that we're here, I would rather focus our efforts first on actually landing, so let's pick a spot to land on. Anywhere other than this crater should be fine. You know what? I have an idea. We have our science monitor. It gives us a live report on what's happening. So as we fly around, we should be able to see the biomes that we can reach. So those are the highlands that we're passing over right now. I'd rather land at the right side of the moon, though. Far side crater. Midlands. We're still in the Midlands. A lot of this is Midlands, I think. Highlands. Okay, that's an option. Highland craters. These are the Highland craters, huh? Those are the far side crater. The far side crater is, I think, where we actually landed the first time. So let's ignore that. Highlands. Midlands. Northwest crater, huh? This is the northwest crater over here? Northwest crater. Okay, this is a new biome. Let's try to land our ship over here. I'll do that on the next orbit so that we don't feel quite as pressured. And we should be landing in an area that has enough sunlight to give ourselves power to land this thing. Now, we're not going to land on the node. I'd rather... In fact, actually, right here would probably be a better place to actually put a node on. Okay, so from here on out, things might actually get a little bit challenging, so we're going to have to be careful here. We might even have to do this multiple times, because this looks a little bit challenging. I'm going to turn on my landing gear now in case I forget to actually set it. Okay, now we've killed all of our forward momentum, so that should be good. Going to quick save. We still have a little bit of fuel left in this lower stage right here. Although this is still a really cumbersome thing that we're still trying to lug around. But at least at the very end of this, we'll know that there's no debris that we're going to have to carry with us. So let me just burn a little bit. Basically, I'm going to take advantage of whatever fuel we have left at this point, because it's important to make sure that you keep track of whatever fuel you have left. But we're about to run out down here. There we go. Quick saving again, because I feel like that we're at the optimal position. I'm going to press... Actually, here's what I'm going to do. Just before we actually land on the surface, I'm going to hit the 2 button, and that'll insta-spam all of our science at once. That way, we can get all the science just before we land on the moon. Then, when we land on the moon and gather all the science, I'll do a second science conduct mission. And then that should be most of the science that we can gather once we actually arrive. Here we go. Yeah, the area beneath us looks flat enough, so I think we should be safe, actually. And we still have this lower thrust. We haven't actually used any of the fuel that we intended to use for our landing itself. Here we go. I may as well just burn out all this fuel now and try to kill some of our speed as we go down. There we go. That's all gone now. Let's quick save. Whoa! You know what? I'm going to go back from that quick save. Because I'm going to see if we can wait a couple seconds for that that piece of debris to go away for a moment or two. There we go. That's a bit safer, I think. Oh, but we need to throttle up because we are coming down fast. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, good. We can do this with enough safety. There goes our lower piece too, that's awesome! That's cool! I didn't realize we'd be able to see our lower landing stage. Don't get distracted now, don't get distracted. That's really cool, but don't get distracted. Oh, that was awesome! That was much cooler than I expected that was gonna be. Oh, shoot! I forgot to do our science while we were up in the air. I got so distracted by our landing debris. Oop. Oh, it's still coming down, too! It's raining like doom up here. Oh, and I forgot to retract my, my solar panels. Well, no matter. Let's quick save. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to quick save, put ourselves very slightly up in the air, press the number 2 button, then put ourselves back down on the ground. So, here we go. There! Now we should have all the science that we need. So, I'm going to keep all this data, and there we go. Okay, so, we've officially made it to the moon, everybody. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to do while we're here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel all of these upper missions right here. So, actually, I don't mean cancel. I mean, I'm going to, clear these ones out, because this upper mission is actually going to go on its very own short mission. I'm going to try to pilot it away from where we are now and land it safely, and that should fulfill one of our missions that we've got right here, which is to test the launch escape system. So let's see, let's review the data. There we go. We still have a ton of fuel on this lander right here, too. A lot more than I thought we were going to have, which is very good, because we're going to need as much of this as we can to put ourselves where we want. Now then, first thing I want to do is get the upper part where we wanted to go. Let's see what mission that was. That was our launch escape system. So I just have to initiate the staging by pressing the spacebar, which should be the next part. Let me just make sure I've got all of my pieces here right. Yep. Okie doke. So, zooming out. I'm not sure how fast this is going to launch, so I'm going to zoom out, take a look at it, and when I hit the spacebar, that should fulfill one of our science objectives. Oh, wow, look at that. There she goes. Hold on. I'm going to quickly switch to the Charon probe. Okay, alright. Hold on. I realize that one of our thrusters here is actually, it's turned off at the moment. That's that one over to the side. I'm gonna come over here and try to reignite this thruster. Ah, stop spitting. Okay, that should be stable enough. There we go. Now, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to actually land this thing somewhere safe. So what I want to do is I want to find the retrograde node. There we go. And do just what we did a moment ago. Now, none of this, what we're doing right now, is actually a necessary thing to actually do this particular mission. But I figure it might be kind of cool to test landing something that's really small. That way, if we do any missions, when we eventually do missions to Eve's moon, Gilly, we'll have some practice actually doing this part. There we go. Is this a different biome? No, we're still in the northwest crater. I don't think we're going to get far enough to be a new biome on this thing. There's our Charon, the mothership that we launched this from. And a quick save, of course. And because we're trying to pilot such a much smaller craft, we don't have to worry about spending nearly as much fuel getting back down. The problem is that there's also a lot less energy to use here. And I think once we land this thing, we're not going to be able to actually... Oh, I realize that we don't really have a shadow, so it's a little bit hard to really tell when or if we are safely going to land. This is a little bit of a gamble. And again, totally not necessary. This is just for fun. Yeah, oh, there's our shadow. I see it over there. Wow, we totally landed. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Well, no matter. I wasn't intending to launch this thing again anyway. Oh well, we came close. And we're still safely on the ground. We're just not going to be able to safely get back up from the ground, even though we have a ton of fuel left. In honor of the success, if not unfortunate, silly landing that we have here, I'm going to rename this probe. What should we call this thing? We're going to call this the Escape System. And I guess technically this thing is a lander. While we're here, we can do some science with it, actually. We've packed some science experiments on it, as you recall, and if I hit the number 2, all of them should deploy at once. So, from where we are right now, we can transmit temperature, gravity, and seismic scans. But we're probably going to run out of electrical charge first. Yeah, we totally are. Let's time skip a bit. You know what? I just realized that we're really fortunate that we landed in a way that didn't obstruct the antenna. Because if we did, that might have actually caused a problem for trying to transmit any of the data that we're trying to send. And there we have it. This craft has fulfilled its mission admirably. You know, guys, it might be possible to land this thing somewhere else if we're really lucky. But I'm not gonna chance it right now. I feel like we've already succeeded more than I planned to do with this thing. So I'm gonna quickly trash those. Our money has gone up substantially. What else can we do while we're up here? We can plant a flag. And actually, that will fulfill all the missions that we can do while we're here. So, we're in pretty good shape right now. Let's go back to the Charon so that we can do our main science while we're here.